Hey up bonsai lovers, so yeah, today we are checking on the air layers. I've already taken 2 off, so you have to excuse the muddy fingers, but I'll show you what I've been up to. So yeah, I'm just checking the air layers that I did with these little pods from Timu, I believe I got them from. Now one was successful, but the roots had dried out quite badly, but I've put it in a pot and I'm about to give it a good dose of water. I did wet the roots in my jug of water just before I potted it up, but yeah, I haven't got much hopes for that one. This one on the other hand, they both had about the same amount of roots, but this one has been extremely successful. So I've just been trying to detangle some of the sphagnum moss from there. Everybody will have their own way of detangling them, but I use these little tweezers, and they make good little rake hooks, and they also can pull bits out. And like I've said in a previous video, what you're trying to do is not damage any of the roots, because while they're white like that, they are very, very fragile. So yeah, I'll snap back to you once I've got done it. Well, that's pretty much all of it off and out. I've got some pretty decent roots there. So the next job we need to do is snip off the bottom stem as close as we can to the roots without chopping through any of the roots. A little bit lower than that, yeah. That'll do nicely. So now we've got a nice little flat root base, quite radial as well, so I'm happy with that. And I don't know if you can see that there, but there's an awful lot of callousing left on this side for where more roots will probably form from later. So I'm going to get this one in a pot, and then we'll have a look at the next one. Well, that's them 2 all watered. Let's go over and have a look at the next one. So these 2 have both come off this one. I believe I did 5 little air layers on this one. Yeah, there's another little pod down there. So based on the last 2 that had plenty of roots, I'm not even going to bother checking this one. I'm going to just snip it off and hope for the best, but I do need 2 hands. So let me snip this off and snap back to you. Right, here's that one off. Not the fantasticest little tree, but it was only a branch that was going to get cut off anyway, so why not try and get a little tree out of it. Now we're not looking like we've got as many roots as we did on the last 2, and the root ball again is a little bit dry. Oh no, there's a fair few roots in there somewhere. So what I'm going to do, like I did with the last 2, is just let that soak in there for a couple of minutes, because it's a lot easier to move sphagnum moss when wet rather than when dry. So I'll let that soak in and see what we got. Well, nowhere near as much roots on this one, and they are a bit all one-sided, but there should be enough roots there to sustain the little twig. So again, I'll get that in a pot. I'll snap back to you. So, next one. This is looking quite a good little tree, this one, so hopefully we've got some good roots. And just while I was watering the trees, out pops that little dude. Yeet. Keep the slugs off for me, bud. Yeah, this last one has done extremely well. We're a bit tangled and mangled, but again, as I say, I don't want to damage any of these amazing roots I've got, so I think I might have to leave this one here, because I've just pulled off 1 or 2 roots by accident, and it's very well matted in, so I may just plant this one like that. But I have been trimming some of the tops off these trees, as you can see down there, just so they sit better in the pot and don't need as much energy up top for the roots. But I think this one has got plenty of roots on it, But yeah, I might try and get a little bit more out and then get it in a pot. that's the majority of it out now. But this one is going to have a great start in life. Got a great Nabari forming already. It's a decent little acer. So get that in a pot, prune it a little bit off, and job's a good one. So I'm using scrim tape today as my mesh because it works really well, and that's the soil that I'm currently using at the minute. I've discussed that many a time before. It seems to work an absolute treat. So this one's just had a few little snips, and now it's going in a pot. Well, this is the last one I've done on this tree, and it's probably the biggest one as well. So we've got an awful lot of roots on this one, so I think this one's actually done the best out of the bunch, and again I think that could be a neat little tree. So yeah, I'll try and detangle this one again as best I can and get it in a pot. Again, that's the majority done on that one. Lovely little root base, only one root facing out that way, but that doesn't matter. That's good radial root base. So again, I'll give it a little bit of a haircut and then get it in a pot. Happy with that. And there it is. A little bit of a haircut. Decent thickness stem. Quite a cool little shaped tree if I do say so myself. Obviously a long way to go yet, but with them roots that'll grow quite well next year. That's the 5 off that tree. One not so successful, and that's only because the roots are dried out, but it could come back to life. It's not dead, so we'll see. And then 3 extremely successful ones, and 1 twig in a pot. So, but it's got a fair chunk of roots on it, so hopefully that'll come back. So now we'll have a look how many air layers I've put on the one over here. So I can only find one in here, and it's the old fashioned bag technique. I've just removed the wire, but I have got 2 cable ties on it apparently, so I'll get them off and have a look. It's a bit difficult to snip because it's the bag's right down on a where are we? Yeah, on a Y junction, and I can't get the scissors in there, so I need to take the bag off first. Well, I got it off, but I need to get some cut paste on there because that's a much bigger branch than I was expecting it to be. So the cut paste is setting nicely on there. So I did lose 1 or 2 roots while detangling this one, and here it is. Got a bit of wire in this one to hold it down because it's quite a big tree. With a bit more sphagnum moss there that's come a bit free. But yeah, there it is again. Nice radial root base, nice thick trunk. The only thing I don't like about this, I think in the future it may get air layered again, is these 2 trunks seem to follow each other almost exactly. That 2 branches, you wouldn't even tell there's 2 branches there from a distance. They're literally following each other perfectly, look. So yeah, what I'll probably do is air layer the thinner one off as a separate tree and just have this as a 1 trunk tree, I think. But yeah, it's had a fair bit of an haircut, and yeah, obviously again a lot of work still to do on it, but I'm pretty sure with a root base like that it will survive nicely. So I've put them in my messy corner for now because they're well sheltered there. They're not going to get battered by the wind and rain. But yeah, this is my messy corner because my pond, if any of you can remember, used to sit there and it's now gone, and I'm in the process of tidying up. So eventually it won't be my messy area, but right now it is. So that was the only air layer on that one, and we've got all the air layers off that one. That one does need a bit of a trim. So lastly, another big air layer to come off that one. But it's not the last air layer of the day, because there's another air layer on my Chinese juniper. So yep, I'll detach the one on the red acer and snap back to you. I'm afraid this one hasn't actually been very successful. Lots of callousing, but no roots as yet. So I've wrapped it back up and I'm going to put it back in its spot. Yeah, so I'll check it again at the end of the season and see how we're doing. Whether them type of acers don't work very well or not, I don't know, but I did it exactly the same as I did that one, and pretty much the same as I did them, just using the pods instead. So on to the juniper. Let's have a look. Oh, moment of truth. I don't know if I'll be able to do this one-handed, but I will certainly try. Again, you want to be very careful unwrapping these, because you don't want to be damaging any roots. No, I'm going to need two hands, I'm afraid, guys. Well, I do have one or two roots, but not enough for me to feel confident in snipping this off. So I'm going to pop this bag back on and leave this one for another good few weeks. So yeah, I left them a few more weeks. It's a couple of months later now, but I left them for about another month. Probably airlaid them or cut them off around October time. Everything's changed in the garden now. We're now in November, middle of November. A bit breezy today, so apologies if you hear the wind, but let me spin you around and show you how they've all done. So that one never left the messy area. That's the one that I wasn't very hopeful for. That's the only one that didn't survive, and the messy area is getting there. A lot less stuff here than there was in the clip a minute ago for you guys, but yeah, let's have a look at the ones that have all survived. Now, most of the leaves have all fallen off these now, but got this one, that one, and that was the big one at the back. That did really well for the last sort of couple of months. That's the tree that the bigger one come off, and that's almost lost all its leaves now. That's the front of the tree. You can see the structure of that one now. It's getting there. It's getting there. That one there was the twig in a pot. The top section unfortunately has died, but needs de-weeding already. But you can see there the bottom section's done well, and it was pushing new growth after it was repotted, so that one's doing okay. Now this is the big red acer. As you can see, big branch missing there. That was the one the air layer was on. That still needs a lot of work before that becomes a nice bonsai, but it looks nice when it's all full of leaves. But yeah, the air layer is off that one, and that's the other one. That's most of the air layers all come off. So let's go and check on the juniper and the red acer. So that's the mother tree of the juniper that had come off, Chinese juniper. Lovely little bonsai in training, that one. And there it is. That's the juniper. That did manage to put out a few more roots, so I was happy to snip it off. And it's got a bit of wire buried into the soil, just holding the top up because it was a bit droopy and I didn't want the tree to fall over in the pot. I haven't wired the roots in because there was a few roots and they weren't very strong, but it's done well. It doesn't look like it's dying, and as I say, it's been off a couple of months almost, so it's doing well. And then the red one, the red acer, is at the back of the little koi pond. Let me open the window. Let's see if we can get the phone in there a bit. yeah, and that one spat out a few roots in the end. And as you can tell by the trunk, still very much alive. Just it's pretty much winter now. We've had the first couple of frosts, and all the leaves are falling off. But koi are all doing well. That's the grow on pond. And that's the main pond with the big beasties. Having a bit of a water top up today. So yeah, all in all, let me close this window, keep the warmth in the air. All in all, a very successful season with air layers. That was my air layers for this year. So thanks all for watching. Like the video if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next one.